Hey guys, I'm Rae.
And I'm Jason.
And we have officially been on the road for 1 year. It sounds absolutely insane because some days it felt like that went by so fast, and then other days I feel like we've been on the road for like 10 years. So stick around as we review our year and answer some of your questions. Wow, all right, 1 year on the road.
365 days.
8,198 miles towing our home.
To 44 different campgrounds.
But to see 21 different states and 10 national parks.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. All right, so we've kind of fallen into a trend with these update videos of just first going over our mental state and how we feel after being on the road, 3 months, 6 months, and now a year. So I guess I'll just start.
Yeah.
I would say that my mental state is pretty good. I was very stressed out before we started this journey. I was just stressed out in general. That's just like the type of person I am. I still get stressed out, of course, but the first 3 months on the road were my hardest. I definitely can safely say I had panic attacks, and I think I went into a depression. I'm saying this super lightheartedly right now, but it was not a good time. I think people should just be mindful of that when they get started, that it can be a little stressful in the beginning and not so fun.
And for me, I would have to say that the last 3 months were actually my hardest. And I feel like that's more because of just where we were. We're on like the southeastern part of the US. I think it's like once we left Florida is when it got, mentally tough for me because we weren't able to bring the RV in as close as we would like to some of these older cities. And that's kind of what we wanted to explore. We weren't exploring national parks or these, big, wide open areas. It was just mostly forest, and for some reason when forests aren't with mountains, it's like overwhelming. So we had, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia. It was just all trees.
Virginia.
Yeah, Virginia.
New York now.
Yeah.
The trees are very claustrophobic. I've heard RVers like the West Coast more. I didn't think we were going to agree with that, and I guess we are. Not saying that we don't like the East Coast. It's just two completely different ends of the spectrum. Towing such a big RV on the East Coast is a little rough as well.
I want to go into these towns more, and because I still work, we don't really get to explore them as much as we'd like. So although we're staying only like 45 minutes outside of a town like Charleston, it's still a pain to get into town and then after I get off of work. So we kind of didn't get to explore as much as I liked, and that just didn't really make it fun. And the rain. We've experienced a lot of rain over here on the east, and we're not used to it being from California. That kind of put a damper on the last 3 months. But now that we're in the mountains of New York, I don't know what it is, but mountain range has already made my mental state better.
Just think about that, I guess, your landscapes and how they are going to make you feel. So that's where we are mentally right now. If you have any specific questions about that, let us know in the comments section below and we will get back to you. But we are now going to dive into some questions. About a week ago, I reached out on our Facebook page and our Instagram page, and I said, send us any questions you have and we'll answer them in this video. So that is what we are going to do right now. All right, so the first question we got is actually 3 people asking pretty much the exact same question. So we're just gonna tackle it in one, but Jeff Rybar asked, what is the most fantastic place you have stayed? Ricky Bro, I'm sorry, I'm probably saying that wrong, said, what is your favorite town? And on Instagram, Lynn's Lulu, who's actually our wedding photographer, she's amazing. She said, what's been your favorite spot so far? So this is a really hard question to answer because you really have to think of like where you are. You can't just have a number one spot in the US. At least I feel like I can't. But top of the list for me has definitely been Moab, Utah. That town was just so unique, and the scenery, and there's 2 national parks right across the street from each other. It's just beautiful.
For me, I would say Moab, but also Savannah, Georgia. I don't know, something about that just kind of rings to my heart.
Definitely. I love Savannah too.
Open liquor laws, I think.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
All right, so the second question we got is, what's the longest stint you've stayed at one campground, and was it because you wanted to stay or because you had no other choice? If it was your choice to stay, which campground and where? So I think our longest stint has been three weeks in Lake Medina campground in Texas, and we were there for the holidays. Definitely was not our favorite campground. And then we spent 3 weeks in the Thousand Trails Orlando resort. Technically we stayed there 4 weeks. We stayed there 1 week. We liked it so much that we knew when we were coming back from Miami, that's where we wanted to stay again. So we ended up staying there for 3 weeks. And obviously that was by choice.
It was close to Disneyland and Universal Orlando, so.
Yeah, and it was a huge resort.
Yeah.
We're actually finding that we like bigger resorts more than smaller resorts. I actually think they're better managed and taken care of. But that's just what we've experienced so far.
Yep.
Oh, I forgot to mention the name of the person who asked that question on our Facebook page was Roddy Puckett. So thanks for asking. And then the next question is from Laura Gunning. So, hey Laura, we talk a lot. But she asked, is it still fun, exciting, scary to be full-time RVers, or have you become used to it so much that it's sometimes now just the same old, same old? I'd say it's still exciting for sure, just because you're constantly moving, so you're constantly in a new area, so that's always fun and exciting. The only thing that feels same old is moving day, packing up and setting up. We've gotten in a routine and really good at that. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I would have to agree. I mean, no matter what, you're going to have something new grocery store everywhere, just trying to find it, or, different paths to get in and out of the campground. I mean, your standard campground life is pretty similar.
All right, and the next question is from Adrian Driscoll. He asked, has your Thousand Trails membership been worth it? I would say so. Definitely. We're actually going to be doing another video this week where we really deep dive the Thousand Trails membership and how much money we spent over the last year on the membership, how much additional money we spent on Encore resorts through Thousand Trails, and then also just how much money we spent on campgrounds elsewhere. So that video should probably give you a better understanding, but short answer, yes, I think it's worth it.
Yeah, in sheer monetary savings, absolutely.
All right, we're moving on to Instagram now, so it's just going to be Instagram handles from here on out. So our next question is from Mrs. Creamer, and she said, have you ever had to deal with bugs in your camper? We also are full-time RV travelers, and we're battling sewer flies. We have not had to deal with sewer flies, thank goodness. We have heard awful things about them. The only thing I have seen about sewer flies is to just make sure that your valves are closed, because that's how they get in, is they can come up your slinky tube. So just make sure your valves are closed. As far as other bugs go, we get occasional bugs inside. Like, we've definitely killed some spiders and some ants, but nothing crazy and nothing huge. Thank goodness, because I probably would lose it.
Yeah, Rae hates spiders, I hate ants, and so those just stick out more in our heads. But yeah, like flies, but nothing different than your regular house.
Yeah. All right, so then Golden Motor Canada asked, will you still be full-time RVing once you have kids? So we can't really answer that because we don't have kids on the brain. Yeah, it's hard to put the two thought processes together because we are still so focused on adventuring and just enjoying our marriage right now that we can't say yes or no to that question. Right?
Yeah, too selfish.
Yeah. So the next question, Liberty or Death Star asked, when are you coming back to Seattle?
Never. Libby, if you want to visit us, you can fly out to wherever we are, so stop being so cheap.
Libby's his sister, for anyone wondering. So, Jeff Place 16 asked, what are your top 3 worst things about RV living? Tell us for future RVers.
Stressful moving days.
Yeah.
Those are the worst, when your GPS tries to take you down the wrong road or there's low-hanging limbs.
And to avoid that, don't travel a long distance on moving days. We try not to go more than 300 miles is probably our absolute max. We've driven over that, which is why we've learned we don't like to drive more than 300 miles. But now that we're on the East Coast with these trees and these small roads and these weird highways, we are trying to stick around 200 miles.
Crappy neighbors. I mean, same thing as your house, right? You have a crappy neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks. Same thing when you're RVing. You actually get the freedom to move. So that's
Exactly.
Oh, internet. We have cell internet and we find places where it'll actually work, but it doesn't always work 100% all the time. I have a very low tolerance for like slow websites, and so that's probably the most irritating thing for me.
I would pretty much agree with all of those. I don't think anything particularly stands out for me either. So we actually have 2 more questions from Jeff Place. The second question is, what has happened that you didn't expect? I guess my answer to that question would actually be when we first took off after watching other RVers online and other travel bloggers on YouTube. I watched a lot of like, what is this lifestyle gonna be like? And you see so many positive moments and good things. And of course you see bad occasionally, but I feel like it's never really stressed enough that the adjustment period sucks. So I'd have to say I wasn't expecting that. Some people are more realistic than me and they definitely expected that, but I did not. So that was definitely something that happened, was that rough adjustment period.
The most unexpected thing is just how open we've become with our lives. Being a security engineer, it's just against everything I stand for, posting what we do online, where we are, and meeting strangers. But
Yes.
that unexpected thing is I enjoy it. I like the community aspect and I like meeting people.
All right, and Jeff's third question is, any advice to a new/future RV family? And I guess my advice would be communication and going slow. I know those sound super cliche, but communication is so key, and being in touch with your own emotions and frustrations is so important, because one thing I've noticed is we can have a rough moving day or get irritated about something or get a rude comment on YouTube and not communicate it with each other, and then we kind of start snapping at each other. So once we got in the practice of, we'll either call each other out and say like, hey, you're kind of grumpy, I think you need to take a minute to think about what's going on. And then normally we can reflect and come back and say, you know what, yeah, I am grumpy because yesterday was so stressful. I just didn't really get to relax after the moving day. So it's still bugging me today. Being in tune with your own emotions and communication is really important. And then going slow so you don't make any mistakes. And if you do make a mistake, don't be too hard on yourself, because we've made plenty. What about you? Any advice?
I would say go slow in the terms of moving. When you first start out, you have a tendency to want to go and see everything that you can, like 2 to 3 day stints and move. But for us, we've realized that like there's so many more things we need to see now from places we've already been, because we were only there for a week and we only got to explore for 2 days, 3 days really. Yeah, just slow down and explore what's around you.
And the next question is from Freeway Flipper. Oh. We just got a neighbor. Great. It's not going to be good for audio. All right, we are going to wait out this loud period because I'm sure that engine doesn't sound great in the background, and we might even move. So we'll see you in a second. This happened in our 6-month video too.
Yeah.
All right, that should be a lot better actually, because we went into this wooded area, although there were a lot of bugs. So we have our candle. Anyway, All right, back to the questions. So Freeway Flippers asked, do you wish you would have gone with a shorter trailer, or are you happy with the length that you have?
I wish that our trailer was shorter, but we had the same amount of space, which physically is impossible. So, no, I'm not unhappy with our trailer.
Yeah. I mean, like, could we have gone shorter? Yes. Do we regret it? No.
No, absolutely not. Well, this is going to have to be front and center because these bugs are ridiculous.
Yes. Anyway, so the next question is Chavalita79 asked, how do you guys get money? With 2 exclamation points.
So I would say our main income is I still work full-time. I'm a cybersecurity engineer and I work remotely from the road 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Everything else we do brings in a little income. We try to diversify as much as possible. We sell a product on Amazon. We get ad revenue from these YouTube videos, but it definitely doesn't support us. That's just kind of extra fun money for now.
All right. BK4MSU asked, what's your favorite national park so far? I guess mine would be Yellowstone.
Mine too. I think it was also the time of the year we were there and kind of made it a little bit more magical because there wasn't a lot of people around. We got it to ourselves.
Yeah.
So.
We went in October of last year. They had their first light snow of the season, and it was just magical. Court Burton 13 said, my husband and I have the same Solitude. Has it ever felt too big when you tow it?
Every time, probably. Yeah, it definitely looks a lot bigger when you connect it to the truck and gives it a little bit more perspective. But when you're not towing it, it's just perfect.
But even like the few times that I've towed, it's not as scary as I thought.
Yeah, it definitely feels bigger on the East Coast with all these trees. On the West Coast, you don't even realize it's there.
So then Living Light RV asked, if you were just starting RV life, would you choose a different rig and why? So even though we just talked about how big it is and that it feels big to tow, I don't know if we'd choose another RV. I think it fits our lifestyle perfectly. If Jason wasn't working, maybe, because I think we'd be wanting to move a little bit faster. So a smaller rig, maybe even a shorter Class A would be easier to get around, but I'm not positive.
Yeah, I think something under like 30 feet, probably right around 30 feet would be perfect if I wasn't working, because then we could actually go stay in national parks. We can't right now because they don't have service, and I need service.
All right, so StormPod asked, what is your daily routine? I would say ours are fairly similar, except Jason gets up earlier than I do to start his workday, and then I get up later and we try and go for a walk or a run, but we've been failing miserably. We at least get Carmen out, but we need a little more exercise as well. And then we both just hunker down on the computer. I'm normally editing videos, he's working on the blog, working on a new business idea, and then we try and get out on weekends. We're gonna sound so boring after this. This was a very insightful question into our lives, but we don't get out during the work days as much because we're normally so tired, or we catch ourselves working late into the night because Getaway Couple is our passion and we're working on a lot. And while you guys might only see YouTube videos, we have a lot of different branches that we're working on. We at least try and make sure we get out on weekends and explore and have some, time with each other as well.
I think we're trying to work on a better routine. But pretty much it's wake up and work and then explore at least one day a week.
Okay, Patricia Shahara, I apologize if I said that wrong, asked, what's the best and worst part of living this past year on the road? I guess the best part is just everything we've gotten to see and explore. It's been so eye-opening. And I think the worst parts we kind of already covered with a previous question that asked that. So what about you? What's the best?
Yeah, just being able to explore. I mean, we used to only get out, and we would use all our vacation, but we only traveled internationally or even longer distances, usually once a year around New Year's. We would get out and explore a new area of the country or a new place in the world. But now that's our life. We get to explore a new place every week. I think that's definitely the best. The worst, we've already discussed. It's stressful moving days, I think, is the top for me. It just really puts a damper on, like, you know, you're going to have fun and then you're just stressed out because trees are really low or something like that.
Yeah. All right. Lynn R. 0803 asked, how do you plan your budget? Embarrassingly enough, I think the short answer to this is we are very poor budget planners. We are trying to get better at it. We had a good budget going before we left, and we kind of just let having fun, trying new activities, you know, upgrades for the RV, new gadgets. We're bad. We have our budget back on track. We've been using a website called YNAB, and it stands for You Need a Budget. So it's ynab.com, and obviously not sponsored. We just find that tool really easy to use, and it helps keep us on track. We've been overspending, and then we go, oh, this is bad. And so now we're back on track setting a budget. And after a year, we have a really good idea of how much we spend on fuel, how much we spend on campgrounds. And so that's how we budget, is we've just looked at our history and we kind of stick to that, or we look and go, okay, we need to stop spending that much on food, or we need to stop going out for a while and stuff like that. All right, so Lynn asked another question, and it is, how much do you spend a month? I'm researching on doing the same for a family of 6.
So this is a hard question, and it's one of like the most wanted ones when you're researching whether to leave or not, or how much it's going to cost. You're trying to estimate it. But I mean, it really depends. One of the great things about this lifestyle is that it's really up to you. Like, you have very few set expenses, right? Like the price of your rig, or like the monthly cost of your rig, and then gas and campsite rentals. But like 1,000 Trails can bring that down to almost nothing per night. For campsites, your rig, you can pay in cash and not have any payments there, and then you can eat in your house or eat out. Like, it's completely variable. We will be compiling our numbers a little bit later. We don't really have a concrete grasp on month to month because it really changes for us.
And we would like to show that to you. We've been thinking about doing an expense report because right now Jason does an income report monthly. We wanted to have an expense report to go along with that. I was looking for expense reports before we started RVing, and now I realize, now that we're doing it, why there's not that many out there, because frankly it is scary telling people what you spend and putting yourself out there even more. And money is like, I don't think it should be, but it is a very personal subject, so people can look at you and go, why are you spending that much there? You should do this, you should do that. People love to tell you how to live your life. So I've been really scared to put our expense report out there simply for that reason, but I think I'm just going to suck it up and we're going to start doing an expense report soon. So Jim James 1465 asked, how do you get regular exercise? Structured workout or tourist walking, or what? So we don't get structured workout, and we have gained weight over the last year. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. In the last couple months, we've been really fed up with that fact, so we've started trying to get out in the mornings and go for a walk or a run. We do get out when we're touristy, and we'll walk over 5 miles because we have our little Fitbits, but we don't get out enough. We don't get enough exercise. That is something I want to vlog because I think it'll hold us accountable. So this week I'm actually going to start our 30-day RV weight loss. So stick around to see how that goes.
All right, well, it's starting to pour here, so we're gonna go run back to the RV.
Don't go anywhere. We're gonna finish this up inside. All right, guys, so I think it's pretty funny the video turns into a fireside chat. You could probably hear the rain, so we're gonna keep this kind of short. That was actually our last question, so that worked out perfectly. I also think it's very fitting that on our 1-year anniversary, nomad-iversary, it rains. It only seems appropriate. I feel like we always have a bunch of rain on like big days. It's very symbolic for us. Thankfully not our wedding day, but the day after our wedding day, it roar. We are now inside celebrating because why not, after all the crap we dealt with today trying to get this video done. And we wanted to, of course, take this time to thank you guys, our viewers, our Getaway gang, for being on this journey with us. I'm sure if you've been with us from the beginning, you have watched us evolve as well. So we thank you so much for being here, no matter what phase of the journey you came in on.
And we do it for you. We don't spend all this time just to have fun, although it is fun.
Yes.
It is all for you.
When we get interaction, it really makes us feel that what we're doing is worth it. And when we get those private messages of people saying that we encourage them to live this lifestyle, that is the best. So we are always here for you too. Don't think because you're watching us on a screen that you can't contact us. Always feel free to ask us any questions in the comment section, and you can always email us at info@getawaycouple.com. We answer those emails as well. They might not be right away, don't judge us. But other than that, that is all we have for you today. We're gonna finish celebrating 1 year on the road. Don't forget to like this video. It really does mean a lot. And subscribe to join our Getaway gang. We'll see you next time. Bye guys. It's been 1 year and we haven't scratched this off. Carmen. Anyway, we're gonna do that right now. Hey guys, I'm Rae.
And I'm Jason.
Oh, that's a big bug.
Moth, you're gonna lose that one.
Hey guys, I'm Rae.
I'm Jason.
Oh, switching it up?
What?
You normally say, and I'm Jason.
Okay. Thought something was off.
You gonna scoot over? This way. Guess you could scoot over more.
Thanks.
Don't kick the camera. All right, so the first question we got is actually 3 people asking
if it's worth it to you, which is more.
Yeah,
like
we'll talk about those things in the video.
Exactly.
Sorry to cut you off. All right, next question. All right, and the next question, you ready?
Yeah.
The biggest epiphany that I had is that
Something on my foot.
I was just telling Jason the other day, I think the biggest, all right, Patricia Shahara, no, I still said Patricia wrong. All right, it's been 1 week since you looked at me. Love you. Look at that tail wag. Love you. Love you. Mean it. Nobody asked any questions about you. How rude.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Rude.